Okay, so again, make sure you do your class period up here. This is just vocabulary which you can read on your own. It says orient is to place in a direction. Orient the box so it's face up. Orientation is the way it's positioned. The orientation of a window is facing east. This is opposed to like orientation in college, like finding out where your buildings are and where your classes are. And then visual is a picture display. A road map is a visual that could be used to figure out how to get to a place. Vision, seeing with the eyes and sight. His vision is so good he can read the street sign. Visualize, to form a picture of something in your mind. Artist tries to visualize an unfinished painting before starting to paint. Reflect is to show an image of something. The mirror reflects light onto the wall, and reflection is the mirror image. The artist can see a reflection of the sky in the pond. Okay, so those you could read through if you want. Here we just need to circle the word to complete the sentence. The blank of the solar panel is towards the sun. That'd be orientation. The water blank, the clouds and the tree, that's reflects. The editor can read small print. He has good vision. He learns from a lot from pictures. He is a visual learner. She looks at her reflection in the mirror as she combs her hair.
I would never say something stereotypical.
Before she plays in a game, the soccer player will visualize herself scoring a goal. So, like, imagine having success and then you actually do it. Okay, so those are just basic vocabulary terms. This one was visual, reflection, and visualize. Okay, so the next thing to talk about and to do is in this 8.2 reteaching, they're talking about reflecting across different things. Now, if you're reflecting across something like this, which is x equal 1, remember that'd be a vertical line. And so you'd go to where 1 is, and then flip that way. Most of the ones we're about to do are with x-axis and y-axis. And so we are going to use our graph paper. We're not going to cut out the triangle, but we are going to do a few of these steps. Okay, so we're going to do steps 1, 2, and 3. So to start with, we want to use those ordered pairs. 2, -3. First, I'm going to darken my axis because it looks a little. That's the x-axis, and this is the y-axis. Okay, so there's your x and y axis, and we want to go to 2, -3. 2, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to use red. Okay, there's 2, -3. And that's going to be M. And then 3, -7. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to be N. And 5, -4. 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 is right there. So I'm going to call that our original. So M I used is 2, -3. N is 3, -7. And O is 5, -4. You don't have to write this on the side, but that's what I used. Okay. The next step is they want to reflect across the x-axis, and so what they want you to do is fold your paper along the x-axis. And so then count from your line of reflection, which in this case is your x-axis. So if you're going 1, 2, 3 units down, then we're going to go 3 units up. 1, 2, 3. And let's call that M prime. And then this one was 7 units down, so we're going to go 7 units up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is N prime. And this one was 1, 2, 3, 4 units down, and so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 units up. And so that's O prime. So those coordinates were 2, +3. 3, +7. And 5, +4. What do you notice about these when you're comparing them? The x is the same and the y is a different sign? Yeah. So what you need to learn from this is when you're reflecting across the x-axis, it's going to be x, -y. You change your sign from the -3 to a +3, from the -7 to +7, and from -4 to +4. So that's reflecting the x-axis. Right there I just put r-axis. I meant x-axis right there. Reflect across the x-axis is x, -y. Okay, so now we've got to reflect across the y-axis, and so fold along the y-axis. And so here we're going to go 2 units to the right, so we go 2 units to the left. I'm going to call this M double prime, and that's at -2, -3. M double prime at -2, -3. And this one we count 1, 2, 3 units this way, so we count 2, 3 units this way. And that's N double prime. So that would be -3, -7. And then the O, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units over, and so it's 5 units over this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. O double prime. And then draw your triangle. O double prime is -5, -4. So now I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. When you're comparing this to this, your x's are different, but your y's are the same. So this is reflect the y-axis would be a -x, y. So basically your x changes sign in this case from a positive to a negative, and your y value stays the same. Any questions? Okay, when we're done with this, you're going to want to staple that to the back of your reteaching page. We're not going to use the scissors or any other parts, so let's go on to this part. This basically has the rules we were just talking about a moment ago. Reflect the x-axis is x negative y, and reflect the y-axis is negative x comma y. Okay, so what we're going to do is reflect across the x-axis, and so that's going to be x comma negative y. We don't have to graph these, we're just going to put the new coordinates. So f prime, our x is the same, so we put a negative 1, and then we change the 3 to be a negative 3. And then on the g prime, we keep the negative 5 the same, but then we change from a 1 to a negative 1. And for h prime, we keep the negative 3 the same, and we change from 5 to negative 5. Any questions? Okay, this next one also does the x-axis, and so we'll just do that here. C prime would be 2, negative 4, because you're keeping your 2's the same and changing from 4 to negative 4. On the D, we're keeping it a 5 and changing it to negative 2 for the y-coordinate. And on E, we're keeping the 6 the same and changing it to a negative 3 for the y. So those are both reflecting the x-axis. The next two are about the y-axis, and so that's the negative x comma y. So for the negative x comma y, we change the negative 1 to be a positive 1, and then keep it a negative 5. On this one, change it to a positive 2 and keep it a negative 3. And on the L prime, from a negative 4 to a positive 4 and keep it negative 6. So you have 1 negative 5, 2 negative 3, and 4 negative 6. So that's with triangles, because there were 3 points. This one, the only difference is it's a quadrilateral, and you're going to have 4 points, and use the same rule. So W prime would be 3 comma 4. X prime would be 4 comma 6. Y prime would be 2 comma 6. And Z prime would be 1 comma 4. So we're basically changing the x's to the opposite sign of what they were originally and making the y value stay the same. So now that's the end of that paper. So what you're going to do is you're going to staple your 20 by 20 grid and then turn it in.